density of the walls and things like that. I mean, certainly from where Bonnie sits and where the supervisor sits, it's going to be fine. Yeah, that would be fine. Good question.
Mark, several weeks ago you were concerned that the price was too much and you thought you could get some figures that would vest it. Mm-hmm. Have you been able to do that?
I've done some research, and I think we could still have stayed within the $1,000 range that the supervisor had originally given us, and pretty much accomplished the same thing. We're not on a server. I'm a little bit hesitant to have to be on a server where the accounting records, the court records, the assessor's information may all be shared or accessed.
But we don't have one server at the moment.
Yeah, no.
That does that.
We don't have any. So, and I think I have spoken to you, Mr. Jeffries, and I know you had said the state contract, so we don't really have to go out for two bids, but you did indicate that if we went to the Dell website, we might be able to find something exactly like this, but a little bit cheaper, which I did, but that's okay. You know, I mean, it's a few $100 cheap, a couple $100 cheaper, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and you know, it's some things, you know, and that's a good point you're making, but some things are, I don't know why this is, but some things are available on state contract and some things aren't available. Right. So it's kind of a mixed bag, and I don't know whether they weren't sure they could get all the volume to be able to meet the demand, and that's why sometimes when you're trying to package things, when you're trying to come up with these numbers, and that's why they vary. Yeah. I mean, if everything that Dell had was on New York State contract, it would be very easy to pick and choose like a Chinese menu. Yeah. Unfortunately, though, you know, if you want that style monitor with this style computer, because they don't sell that monitor or that printer, you're sort of jumping all over the place, so it makes it something.
Yeah. I think the monitor in your quote is 22 inches.
It was a 22 inch monitor.
22 inches. Okay. Almost 2 feet.
Well, remember it's the wide aspect, so it's sort of you're going out to the right, not up like the old monitors did.
Diagonal.
Right. It is diagonal.
No comments, please.
Yeah, it is diagonal. But the point being is, on a regular square tube, a 22 inch would be enormous, where a 22 inch on a wide screen, flat screen, is considerably smaller. You know, but it's wider. So.
Any other comments? All right, I make a motion that we purchase for the supervisor's office the Optiplex 380 mini tower and the Lexmark X543DN color multifunction all-in-one printer according to Mr. James Jeffries' recommendation.
Second.
We're still we can have discussion?
Yes, you can have a discussion.
All right. I think we should be a little bit more clear on the motion. It's for the mini tower and the software, right? A 22-inch monitor.
It is for the mini towers for the proposal as given to all town board members by Mr. Jeffries.
Right. The keyboard, mouse, and speakers all come with that, right?
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
And is the supervisor willing to split the motion, or is it all one motion? In other words, a motion for the computer and the accessories, and then a separate motion for the printer, or do you want it all done in one?
I don't see any reason not to do it all in one. Okay. Does anybody else have any comments about that? Mr. Jeffries put together what he considered a package of machines that would work together and would service the supervisor's office well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see, when he had first started making his comments, the issues with the virus and the software and everything. It seemed, or at least he was convincing that was a real pressing need.
I think fixing our computer system, the entire system, and dealing with viruses in the town hall with all of the computers here is important, but that's not related to the computer that's the equipment that's purchased right now.
Okay, so we'll just talk about the computer for the supervisor. Okay.
All right. So there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. Mr. Jeffries, I really appreciated your comments on viruses and what we need to do as a town to protect all of the systems that we have in Town Hall. What we need to do to proceed is to put out some kind of call to look at 2 or 3 different computer consulting firms that could offer the services of looking at all the computers and make recommendations and see which one is the most cost-effective and seems the best for the town.
The supervisor would be happy, I mean, Councilman D'Agostino did speak to me about this, and I'd be happy to recommend to you some procedures to follow, maybe if you'd like, that other towns and villages have followed, that maybe it'll make it possible for you to update the system.
We can talk about that another time. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you.
All right, is there anything else under other for unfinished business? All right, under new business, we need to vote on the proposed local law number 2 for emergency vehicle access. So I'll make a motion that we need to do this in 2 stages.
Madam Supervisor, if I
Yes.
may, I've prepared 2 different resolutions. The first is the seeker resolution, which I'll read, and then we have the EAF. Actually, the EAF I'll read first. There's a short environmental assessment form, or commonly called an EAF, that has been prepared. It indicates that there is no significant adverse environmental impacts found on this. And in connection with that, I'll read the resolution. The Town Board of the Town of Stamford, seeker determination for a local law to amend a portion of Chapter 96, Fire Prevention and Building Construction Administration of the Town of Stamford Code. Whereas the Town of Stamford has considered the adoption of a local law to amend a portion of Chapter 96, Fire Prevention and Building Construction Administration of the Town of Stamford Code, to require that all residences, dwellings, and places of business have suitable access to the property for emergency vehicles in the Town of Stamford for the purpose of responding to emergency calls. And whereas the local law is prepared in draft form, a copy of the proposed local law was sent to Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development as a referral pursuant to New York General Municipal Law Section 239M, and a public hearing was scheduled for June 10, 2010, at a meeting of the Town Board. And whereas the Dutchess County Department of Planning and Development has commented by letter that it is a matter of local concern, and whereas the Town Board has declared its intent to be the agency coordinating review with the Town's Planning Board, Zoning Board, and CAC Building Department concerning the proposed local law, and with no objection, the Town Board was declared lead agency.